And that's right, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, joined by my co-host, the great Daniel Bobo Curlin. And Dan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing fine. Just got back home. Just got back home from the Met game not too long ago. Nice little Mets win. A win that wasn't such a near heart attack Mets win, but I think I almost pushed the panic button the top of the first inning.
I think everybody kind of did. And you know what? Let's jump right into things, Dan. Today was the New York Mets opening day. We'll get into the Yankees in a little bit. The Yankees did kick off the opening day, opening night, opening week, whatever you want to call it, slate last night out in San Francisco. We'll talk that up in a couple of minutes. But yeah, Dan, let's start with where you were today, and that's Citi Field for opening day. New York Mets against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets come out on top, 11-7. We all know how how good the Mets are usually on opening day. They have the best winning percentage on opening day in the history of Major League Baseball, and they got it done again today. Dan, this was a fun game to watch. I'm sure it was a fun game to be at too. And you mentioned that you weren't really feeling too good. You're about to hit the panic button in the first inning when Freddie Peralta gave up a 2-run shot in the top of the first to Brandon Lau. It was a no doubter too. You knew right off the bat that ball was gone, but that didn't matter because even though there were a couple of little hiccups from Freddie in his first start, the blow up came from Paul Skenes, the defending National League Cy Young Award winner, the best pitcher in baseball, hands down, a guy who threw very well for the United States in the World Baseball Classic as well. Paul Skenes did not have a good day today. And to be fair to him, it wasn't all his fault. His center fielder, O'Neal Cruz, had an all-time bad inning right there in the first when he dropped the ball, allowing the bases to clear and allowing Brett Beatty to go all the way to third base and drive in all 3 runs. And then he missed the next play. A Marcus Semien pop-up turns into a RBI double as well. So partly, in a little bit because Paul Skenes obviously didn't have his best stuff today. He's usually not walking a lot of guys. He did walk 2 guys in that first inning. And, you just got to give credit to the Mets, Dan. They grinded away. And even though they did get a couple of breaks from bad defensive plays by O'Neal Cruz in center field, the Mets went out there and beat Paul Skenes. And you can't sit here and sugarcoat it anyway. The Mets beat the crap out of him. And they got lucky on 2 plays, but it was because of the great at-bats they had that whole inning that set it up.
Yeah, you got to give credit. They just had that their offense was clicking. And of course, the one thing I got to say, I really have a feeling maybe the Peralta was maybe a little bit. I guess maybe a little bit maybe cold or green a little bit to this. I guess this early in the season, but I feel like he's going to be better once he gets going after a couple of starts.
Yeah, well, we'll get into Peralta in a sec. I think that despite the fact that his line wasn't great today, we'll talk about it in a sec, how you can see the good stuff there, though. But I do want to just highlight the fact, look, we can't overlook that Paul Skenes is the best pitcher in baseball. This guy he's made almost 50 starts in the major leagues since he came up about a year and a half ago, and he's got an ERA under 2. So we can't overstate how much it meant for the Mets to beat him up today. And we did point out the fact that the 2 O'Neal Cruz misplays in center field played a role in it, but I want to break it down even more than that, Dan. You had a great at-bat. Francisco Lindor missed most of spring training. He had that surgery only about 6 or 7 weeks ago to repair the hamate bone in his wrist, right? So a lot of people weren't sure if Francisco Lindor wasn't even going to be here. Well, guess what? Lindor went out, had a great at-bat. That first at-bat, drew a walk. set the whole inning in motion. Then you have Juan Soto rip a base hit. Boba Shett didn't have a great day at the plate today, but he draws but and he ends up getting out. But the rest of the lineup picked him up. I gotta say too, I did not agree with Carlos Mendoza hitting Luis Robert Jr. in the number 5 spot. I personally would have had him down maybe in the 7 hole, maybe even down in the 9 hole. But you know what? I got to give Carlos Mendoza credit, and I got to give even more credit to Luis Robert Jr. because his at bat right there in the first inning, where I thought he was going to strike out on 3 pitches against Paul Skenes, he went out there, he fell behind 1 and 2, and he battled back and he drew a walk that set the whole inning in motion for the Brett Beatty triple to center field over the head of O'Neill Cruz. Dan, you were at the game. You could tell how important that Luis Robert Jr. at bat was, and I want to give him credit because obviously, a lot of people, including myself, downplayed his significance offensively on this team. But he went out there and had a great at bat and had a very nice day overall.
Yeah, I feel like he has the potential to have a good offensive year, as long as he's can able to maybe just fly under the radar. Well, there's a lot of other big bats in the lineup. I feel like that'll give him the chance to just not have to feel that burden of it and have quietly just have a nice offensive numbers.
Yeah, you're right. He's got more talent around him now than he's had his entire career. He's had, especially the high end talent. And not only that, Luis Robert Jr. now too, he's actually on a team with expectations where the fans care. Now, you got to give White Sox fans credit. If you're a White Sox fan in Chicago, it's a lot like being a Met fan in New York. You're second fiddle. So if you're a White Sox fan, that means you're a diehard, right? But let's face it, the White Sox have been down on their luck for the last number of years. And you just got to give credit to the White Sox fans for showing up when they have. But as Luis Robert Jr. said before the game today, he's like, you know what? I'm excited to play in front of a packed house here at Citi Field. It was 42,000 strong there today, or just about that. And you got it, and that gets guys like Luis Robert Jr. juiced up because he has been playing in front of half empty stadiums for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's such a big deal, and I feel like he was feeding off that energy. I didn't get a chance to catch up and see all the post game show yet. I had it recorded, so I could look at it and call back to maybe anything I maybe saw in an interview and stuff. But I'll take a look. But I'm pretty sure he's just kind of felt it for a while for the first time in his career.
There's some kind of feedback coming from your microphone now or something. I'm not sure what that is.
Is there anything? Am I sounding normal?
It's really. Yeah, I just muted you and it went away. So it's definitely something on your end. There's something coming out on. Maybe
I don't
mess at your microphone a little bit because right now it doesn't sound very good.
Hold on, let me sign out and come back.
Okay, there we go. So Bo is going to try to fix that. In the meantime, though, I do want to just talk about this big win for the Mets today. I feel like it meant, we all know how opening day, is kind of overplayed a lot. The fact that, it's the first game of the year. People put a lot more significance on it than it should be. And let's see. Okay, Dan, that sounds a lot better now. But, I was just saying that people put a lot of significance on opening day, Dan, for good reason. It's the first game of the year. But I think this opening day for the Mets meant a little bit more because there's so much new for this Mets team. And I feel like they needed to almost win today to get the bad taste from 2025 out of everybody's mouth,
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of stuff they had to get the bad taste out of 2025, and the bad taste of losing their two best players to free agency. Last night I was watching the movie Major League, and I'm seeing, like, that scene when the general manager is talking to the cheap ass owner, who I feel like kind of reminds me too much of what the days, those horrible dark days of the coupons were like. But I'm just watching the movie Major League, right? And he's like saying we something like we lost our two best players to free agency, and he says, "Oh, this one hit too close to home this year," because it's like,
It got a little too real.
yeah. That scene there, and this is a
Yeah,
movie
I hear you.
I watch every year the night before opening day. By the way, every year the night before opening day, I watch that movie.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I wanted to bring this up too because um, we were talking about the overturn of last year. Obviously, like you said, losing a couple of those free agents played a role. All the trades they made, getting rid of McNeil, getting rid of uh, you know Brandon Nimmo, trading away a couple of prospects that were expected to be on the team this year, and Brandon Sprout and Jet Williams for our new ace Freddie Peralta. So there were a lot of Met debuts this year, right? There were actually 8 Met debuts on opening day this year. That's a lot. You typically don't see that many, a guy making his team debut on opening day. And I did want to point this out because the great Anthony DeComo, who covers the Mets for MLB.com, pointed this out. You can follow Anthony on X at Anthony DeComo. And he pointed out that it's the most team debuts the Mets have had since 1995. Now, if you remember, that 1995 season started in May that year when the Mets opened up in Coors Field against the Rockies. Oddly enough, in that game, Dante Bichette, the son of our new the father of our new third baseman, Bo Bichette, would hit a game-winning grand slam in the 13th inning in the first ever game played at Coors Field. However, in that game, 8 Mets made their team debut on opening day that year. Those Mets were Carl Everett, Brooke Fordyce, Bill Spires, Edgardo Alfonso, Ricky Otero, Blas Minor, Doug Henry, Jerry Dipoto, and Brett Butler. So, boy, was that a moment in time where the Mets, so much was changing for the Mets back around that time in the mid '90s, and now 30 years later, we're having another big turnover this season now.
Yeah, that was like a wild. That was like a crazy around. But yeah, and the crazy part about that year, 1995, maybe the closest I came to attending the Mets spring training, because I was visiting relatives in Florida, Orlando and some in West Palm and stuff. But when I was in West Palm, one of the South Florida relatives said, "Oh, you want to go to a spring training game in West Palm Beach?" I think it was back when the Expos did their. It's at a stadium that no longer exists, and the Mets were the visiting team. It's about as close as I got to a Mets spring training game. Never really got to see one at St. Lucie yet. It was just
We're gonna
that.
have to we're gonna have to make a trip down there one year with the show, but
Yep.
yeah, man. So, yeah, a lot of turnover during that spring. Obviously, with all the weirdness from the strike that year and everything too. But this year no strike. Maybe this is the year before the strike. Unfortunately, let's hope that's not the case. But it seems like it
Yeah.
might be going that way.
Yeah,
And
and
a
I could.
lot of turnover this year as well.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I all this time the thing just flew right past my mind of what we were gonna cover if the strike if a baseball strike happens next year. I just realized we could cover Japanese baseball, I guess, next year. If
We'll
that.
have we always have plenty to cover here. Let's hope next year, if there's no baseball, let's hope the Rangers are relevant again next year
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
so we
yeah,
can
yeah,
talk
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
more
like,
hockey.
yeah. At least let's hope that. Let's hope that because let's face it, I don't like to be clean shaven in April.
I hear you. I hear you. As and Unfortunately for us Ranger fans, it will be a clean shaven April. Although you know me, I'm never really that clean shaven. But yeah, it's I definitely hear you on that, Dan. Let's hope it's a different story next year. However, I did want to keep it rolling here on the Mets, though, Dan. We were talking up Freddie Peralta before. A lot of people, especially on social media and stuff, saying it was a disappointing first start for Freddie Peralta. I mean, give me a break. The guy went out there, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. That's not gonna, get everybody excited. But the fact is, the guy battled through. It was his first start. He threw just about 80 pitches, and he threw two bad pitches, to be honest. He threw the bad pitch to Brandon Lau in the first inning that he hit for the home run. And then he threw the other bad pitch to Brandon Lau the second time, where he hit the second home run. Other than that, I can't sit here and knock Freddie Peralta. I was happy he wasn't walking guys. So you see, that's a big goose egg in the walk column there. He struck out 7 guys, so he was still working with his strikeout pitch. There were times where you could tell he was fighting against himself a little bit. Look, the fact of the matter is, Dan, back in the day, they used to have pitchers ready to throw 100 pitches by the time spring training ends. They don't do that anymore. You don't see guys pitch into the 6th or 7th inning in spring training anymore. So April is really what spring training used to be in a lot of ways, where you're trying to still stretch your starters out a little bit. So it didn't surprise me at all that Freddie Peralta did run into a little bit of trouble in the 5th inning there. It looked like he was running out of gas a little bit, but he got through it. 5 innings, 4 runs. Hey, you know what? Every once in a while, your ace is going to need your offense to bail him out. That's exactly what they did today. Freddie Peralta gets a win in his first Mets start. Was it his best start? No. But am I going to sit here and freak out and say he's going to have a bad year either? No. I think Freddie Peralta is going to be fine. I think he's going to we're going to see more flashes of the ace that he can be this year soon. It's just, it's a work in progress right now. It's still very early in the season, and we got to give him time.
Yeah, you just got to give him time. I feel like there may have been a bit of butterflies there. I mean, his first start in New York, it's like a whole different atmosphere. But I feel like now, once he's gotten out of his system, he'll probably be even better his next. He'll have a better start his next start. I feel like. Also, I feel like the offense, the bats woke up. I think I may have didn't found the right rum to offer Jabu this morning.
Oh yeah, what rum was that?
Oh, I freaking I think I went with like a special edition Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels rum. Okay, interesting.
No, not rum. It was a whiskey. My mistake. It was a whiskey, but I went with
little
the
whiskey.
Special,
okay,
I went with the special edition Jack Daniels.
Fair enough. A little whiskey for good old Jabu. And he must have liked it because, like you said, those bats were awake today and they were looking good. You could tell it was definitely a nice 70-degree day out at the stadium instead of sometimes in March and April games where you get the 40 and 50-degree cold days that are just terrible. But, Dan, you were in the stadium today. How did it feel? Did it feel like a nice warm day?
Yeah, it felt like a warm day, a nice spring day. I was able to unzip my hoodie.
Nice. Because the only reason I asked that too is because just as good as anybody, Dan, from going to as many Met games as you and I have over the years.
Yeah.
It could be a really nice day out, but sometimes you get in that stadium, it's a little windy and you're freezing your butt off a little bit. So, but you were feeling pretty nice in that stadium today, though.
Yeah, there was. Only thing there was to do was just a little breeze, but it wasn't that bad. And surprisingly, I did something I feel like it very rarely happens on opening day, but this weather kind of was conducive to it. I ate ice cream.
There you go. Did you get one of the bowls?
Yeah, I did.
All right, nice. Add to the collection. I like it. And Freddie Peralta, man, and his Mets debut. How did you feel the crowd was reacting to Freddie too?
I feel like the crowd was ready for it. They gave him. I feel like they gave him a nice applaud. They were into it. The only thing is, I don't know if there was some drunk fan that was just throwing peanuts to people below him, and I was getting hit by peanuts.
What?
Yeah, this is happening. Like, I was like, honestly, who throws peanuts on me? Honestly, just
honestly.
yeah, just saying, I don't know who it is, but freaking it must have already been someone who is eager to do the 9-9 challenge. Which, by the way, I have to say, we we're probably going to do that at some point during the season, the 9-9 challenge, and
Yeah,
we're gonna do it. We're gonna go big. We're gonna go to full size 9-9 challenge. We gotta
I
go.
was gonna say, and you know what, Dan, this is what we're gonna have to do, and we're announcing this right now. Now we're not sure when it's gonna be, but at some point this year, me and you are gonna do a watch along for a Met game. Right now, I told you I wanted to keep them special. I don't want to just be doing it every week. I want to keep it special. But we're gonna pick a game. I'm not sure when it's gonna be. Maybe a Subway Series game. Maybe a game of some importance. We'll pick that game, and me and you are going to be together. You'll either come out here or I'll come out to you. We'll figure out a way to do it, and we're going to get 9 beers each, full size, and we're going to get 9 hot dogs each, full size, and we're going to do the 999 challenge, the real one, like you said, not the 3-ounce beers, whatever the hell they're giving in City Field and
Yeah,
these other
yeah, yeah,
ballparks this year. And me and you are going to do it, and we're going to kick ass. And even if we don't do it, we end up puking, we'll get that too.
yeah. Either way, you'll get something. You'll remember that's gonna be a highlight on the show. Maybe gonna be top 5 because I feel like there's nothing that's gonna top 5. I mean, I feel like already number 1 is gonna be that moment in that gold medal game. That has to be number 1. Oh,
Yeah, the
oh,
gold medal
oh, oh,
game is right up there, no doubt
oh,
about it.
oh. Yeah, I feel like maybe probably the only thing that will come close is, God forbid, there's a camera on us when the Mets win the World Series, which is not going to be. It's not going to be quite a watch along show per se, but if the moment comes where the Mets are 1 win away for the World Series, I'm going to make sure there'll be a camera on us at Donovan's because I believe me, I know the people there. They can set up a camera somewhere on that table, right there where we're looking at the TV. They have that camera right on us, so you could see what it looks like when we're celebrating that moment. You're you're gonna see that footage of it without a doubt.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see me and you losing our minds, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so that'll be fun. Everybody keep that in mind, because at some point this year, the 999 challenge is coming up here to Best Seat in the House podcast, no doubt about it.
yeah,
And
yep, exactly. Also, I figured I'd show you guys one of the little things I bought on opening day.
sure,
This little opening day
see what
pin.
you got there.
Yeah,
All right, very nice.
it's a little opening day pin.
Is that pin specific to 2026?
Yeah, it is. You see there it says opening day 2026. Has a picture of the mascots of the 2 teams.
Oh
And that
yeah,
game,
okay. I didn't even see the on there. Yeah, you're right. Very
yeah, it has
nice.
a picture of Mr. Met. I'm not quite sure what the name. I gotta Google that one. I don't know the name of the Pirates mascot. I think it's Pirate Parrot.
I would say
I
it's got
can't
to
quite
be
confirm.
Polly, right? I mean, how could it not be Polly?
Yeah, I think it's Polly. I'm not quite sure. I know most of the mascots' names, but I gotta Google that. But they usually sell these ones every year, and this was actually the last one I found because they usually have different opening day pins, but the one that always seems to sell out the quickest, the one that has the image of the 2 mascots on it. And I was
It's
looking for
funny.
that specific one, and I managed to
You
get
know,
it.
very nice, very nice. I just looked it up though, and the Pirates mascot is just called the Pirate Parrot. That's it.
Oh, so it looks like I was right, and I was correct, and I didn't realize it.
I,
I
I
I, I
should have
just
taken your word for it.
I just remember running into that mascot at the All Star Fan Fest when they had the All Star game at City Field. That time at the
Uh,
Fan Fest at the Javits Center, you had every mascot almost every MLB mascot was in the building. I don't know. Did you go? Did you go to the Fan Fest in 2008 or 2013? One of the years, one of the days.
I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, because I was about to say if you had went, you probably may have ran into me and not known it. Because I was
That's true. That's true.
because I
In
got
2013, in 2013, we would have just been a couple of months off from when we actually met.
yeah. If you were at the Jacob Javits Center there at the All Star Fan Fest, and I'm tempted to go to the All Star Fan Fest again this year. At least at
Yeah,
that, not the All Star game because it's in Philly. Maybe hop on the New Jersey Transit train and go to the All Star Fan Fest because that event was just a lot of fun. I feel like it's a mix of like a fan fest and it's almost some similar Comic Con elements only with baseball. And sometimes you find some neat stuff at the vendors table. Sometimes like there was one time I think it was 2013. I got a hold of a replica of a turn of the century glove.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I just thought it was such a cool decoration to have this replica of like turn of the century glove. I thought it made a cool little decoration. It's a nice little conversation. People ask me about that, and I tell them, "You said, yeah, it's the replica of a turn of what's that weird looking the glove?" And I tell them it's a turn of the century baseball glove, like early 1900s. And it's a real neat conversation piece when you have baseball fans come over and visit.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Also, another neat conversation piece that you can bring up, Dan, is that you were in the ballpark too the day Carson Benj got his first major league
Yep.
hit, his first major league home run, and his first major league stolen base, all in the same game. His first major league hit was a home run that he blasted over the right center field fence, and he and Francisco Alvarez ended up going back to back there in the sixth. And you just knew when, especially when Benj connected there, that this was just one of those days where everything was going right for the Mets.
Yeah, I just had a feeling I was gonna be at his first home run. I just thought it was. I was just amazed that I was gonna be. I was at his MLB debut. The way it worked out that I'm at his. I got this guy to sign a card when he was on the Brooklyn Cyclones. I had him sign pretty much in a sense his rookie card, his first card as a professional baseball player. I
Yeah,
have I have a signature on that when he was on there for at one point last year. And then
yeah, true.
I feel like there was a crime against humanity that happened thanks to a couple of idiots at Rob Manfred and allowing the network to do this. It's a crime against humanity that Gary Cohen couldn't be in the booth for that one. We didn't get a Gary Cohen home run call for
That
Carson
does
Bench's
stink.
first home run.
That does stink, but at least we did get the Howie call on the radio for it. Unfortunately, I was at work, so I had it on mute. I didn't hear either. I saw it live, but that was pretty cool. But the thing with Carson Bench too, Dan, is that he's not much of he's not a big home run hitter. So it did kind of surprise me that his first major league hit was a home run, and he hit that ball out of the park too. So it kind of surprised me his power, but yeah, it didn't surprise me at all that he got a big league hit today because the guy had a hell of a spring. What he hit like 390 this spring. He was just incredible, and I expect him to be very productive for the Mets this year.
Yeah, I feel like one of those things is that he isn't quite like a power hitter per se, but the kind of power kind of shows up there. Will probably show up
Yeah,
there quite a bit, especially over time. It's gonna be showing up.
it's true, man. He's only the second Met ever to make his major league debut on opening day and hit a home run. That other Met was Kaz Matsui on opening day in 2004 in Atlanta. He's also only the second Met all time to hit a home run and steal a base in his major league debut. Uh, the only other Met to do that was Lenny Dykstra back on May 3rd, 1985. And not only he's the second Met, he's only the 14th big league player all time to hit a home run and steal a base in his major league debut. So it just goes to show Carson Bench really had a historic first game in the big leagues.
Yeah, that is just wild that we saw all that in one day. And I was also noticed that they did something I hadn't seen the Mets do since 2019. Give out a magnet schedule at opening day.
That's cool. I've been wanting him to do that the last couple of years. I always loved those magnet schedules on opening day.
Yep, and they brought that back after they hadn't given out one since 2019. Even though apparently somehow when I ended up winning those bobblehead. Remember I posted a picture in 2021 of these promotional bobbleheads that were supposed to be 2020 giveaways, but I ended up winning them on a Met social media page. I got sent them with a letter from Steve Cohen himself, and I ended up with a, a magnet that was supposed to be given away in the 2020 season.
It's
Was they
funny
had
you say
printed
that
these
too, because
things?
I actually have a 2020 spring training magnet schedule myself from some tickets that I bought that off season, and it was before COVID, and they ended up sending me that schedule. So oddly enough, the last magnet schedule I have is from 2020 as well. So interesting
Yeah.
there. Also, Dan, I wanted to get your
Yep.
opinion on what you thought Jorge Polanco looked like at first base today. He saved an error from, on a borderline throw by Bo Bichette. I thought he made a couple of decent plays. He looked natural over there. His timing was good. I got to say, one game in at least, Jorge Polanco looked pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like he's getting there at first base. I feel like he's kind of had, after spring training, he had to adjust to the other big thing, playing in front of the New York crowd, because that's a whole other different animal than in spring training and the smaller capacity. It's not like there's that pressure to win. It's like it's magnified when you're in front of that New York crowd, and I feel like he's getting adjusted to that. That's the big common denominator, and one of the big common denominators in anything when you're playing baseball, when you're wearing that uniform.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of pressure on him today, and he ended up doing great defensively. And at the plate, he chipped in too. He had a double, an RBI. He walked two times. He scored a run, 1 for 3 at the plate. So really good day all around from Jorge Polanco. I was very impressed with what he did for this team. And now, Dan. So we all know the typical opening day stuff. You get excited for opening day, you get jacked up, you enjoy the game and everything, and then boom, you have off the next day. And you have off the next day just in case of rain. It's understandable, it makes sense. And it really worked out this year for the Mets because tomorrow is supposed to be a really nasty, rainy day here anyway. So it's possible the game would have gotten rained out tomorrow anyway. So luckily, don't have to worry about that. Mets play today, off tomorrow, and they're back at it now on Saturday. It's going to be a Saturday afternoon game, 4:10 p.m. start at Citi Field. And it's going to be the Pirates throwing out Mitch Keller and the Mets countering with David Peterson. So it's going to be, should be a good matchup. We all know what David Peterson can do when he's healthy and when he's pitching well. Obviously, you can't discredit Mitch Keller of the Pittsburgh Pirates either. He's a very good starter, a very reliable arm they've had there over the last couple of years. But once again, Dan, too, if the Mets went out there and beat up, Paul Skenes today, they should be able to scratch a couple of runs off Keller on Saturday, too.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, the if you're going to the game tomorrow, you're gonna get a pretty neat little giveaway. I'm probably not going to the giveaway because it's too similar to a giveaway I already have. In 2016, when they did the anniversary of the '86 Mets, they gave out this really, like they did a really better job than what was whatever the Wilpons paid for with this to have this giveaway made. This company outdid themselves that did this replica of the 1986 World Series ring. Whatever company made it just went. They did more than what they were hired to do. So
That's
it came,
true.
came
It's
out pretty
funny
good for like a replica. You have the same giveaway.
that
Yup, that's the giveaway right there. The same giveaway
there
I
you go.
have.
The
Yeah,
1986.
yeah they out the company that made that giveaway just outdid themselves. Like they did more than what they were. Like I said, they did more than whatever they were paid. They were paid by the Wilpons to do. They 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 knew they needed to give a better product than that as to get for that giveaway, and it's a neat giveaway. And I was hearing Howie Rose describing that giveaway item, so you're pretty much going to get something of that quality on Saturday if you're at the game.
Very cool, man.
As
Yeah,
a
you're right. I
as I
saw that they were doing that giveaway again on Saturday. That's going to be awesome for anybody else checking out that game.
yeah, and you might, and if you probably missed that giveaway back in the day, this is your chance to get a hold of what I feel is one of my favorite giveaway items when they did those replica rings for the '69 one and the '86 one, and hopefully hopefully someday I'll be acquiring a giveaway item that has a ring that says 2020 something on it. Just saying.
That'd be
That would be
nice.
nice one day to have one like that in my collection as a giveaway. I'm just saying, Mets, do maybe do that for once so I can know what that's like.
That would definitely be nice. So keep your ears open, Steve Cohen, because we'd like to keep that going. So no game tomorrow, but Saturday 4:10. Pirates throwing out Mitch Keller, Mets with David Peterson. So that'll be fun to watch. I did want to talk about the Yankees too. Obviously, today opening day in MLB. Not only did the Mets open today, the Yankees ended up opening last night. So let's get into a little bit of the Yankees talk now, Dan. As the Yankees ended up shutting out the Giants 7-0 last night in San Francisco. It was the Yankees' fifth straight opening day win. So you got to give them credit here. A lot of people, especially a lot of Yankee fans in general, have been very frustrated with these last few years of the Aaron Boone era. I think a lot of them were really hoping the Yankees would pull off the upset in the 2024 World Series and get their first championship in 15, now going on over 16 years. Um, Unfortunately for them, that didn't end up working out that day. But the Yankees have been getting it done on opening day the last few years, and you want to kick the season off right, and the Yankees did just that on Wednesday night in San Francisco. Dan,
Yeah, without a doubt, they got done. And I did watch the Netflix broadcast just mostly to see how this was going to turn out. And I kind of feel like I feel like they kind of got the idea, but I feel like they could have done a better job in the announcers they brought in. Like maybe the other two guys, but I know Vaskursian was a. I mean, he's been broadcasting baseball games for a while, so maybe that one was good. But I feel like Netflix just want to make this thing too gimmicky. I feel like for a baseball
you're
broadcast, I feel like,
yeah,
and it
you're
was
1,000% right, Dan.
and the only thing worse was those Apple TV broadcasts, especially the first year they were doing the Apple TV was doing MLB games. Because remember how horrible those that year in 2002 that they actually had to fire two of those broadcasters. That's how bad it was.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
yeah, remember,
Apple TV was yeah.
yeah. Remember, I was making fun of it on a Davy Max Sports program the other day. How
Yep.
horrible it was.
Yeah, that's right, man. And so those, obviously the Apple ones were pretty bad, but Netflix last night I thought was terrible too. Like you said, Matt Vaskursian did a pretty decent job. He's been on Fox Sports for years and everything. So this is a guy that knows how to call a baseball game. Makes sense. But he was also out there with Hunter Pence and CC Sabathia, who say what you want about both those guys. They're probably nice guys. CC's a Hall of Famer. Hunter Pence is a very good player, multiple time World Series champion. Obviously, CC's got the ring from the '09 Yankees, but I thought it could have been better. I also didn't like them shoehorning those WWE wrestlers. It was the Usos and the other guy over there. They had some other celebrity in the audience eating Cracker Jacks and stuff. It got a
Yeah,
little ridiculous. And then even the openings when they had like the New York City cabs and everything like that. And by the way, guys, that might be a New York trope from about 20 years ago because everybody does Uber these days. So you might not want to highlight the cabs as much as you did back in the day. And then they had the trolley for San Francisco. I thought it was a little over the top.
yeah. I just thought so too. And then the fact they they just put shoehorn to every advertisement for every little thing that they have on Netflix. It was even worse than when I thought it was bad when Fox does that. I always hated when Fox just put people who they just put them there. They get to go to the World Series or something for free because they got a TV show on Fox. I used to make the joke. I says I should find a way to get a TV show on Fox just to get these things because they said that. But it used to annoy me that put actual people who are fans in these seats, not some
It's true.
people because you're freaking not some living walking advertisement for a show you have on your network. And they just did it even worse than than how Fox does that. And I just freaking cringed. Like, did they did Robert Manfred? What was Robert Manfred smoking when he agreed to this? When Netflix pitched this, of all things, he actually agreed to this. What? I just wanted to see, like, man, the only thing could, and I'm trying to look at this probably from the perspective of some Yankee fans that were watching, and even some that we both know. Man, I know there were some Yankee fans that would probably go nuclear if there was a Netflix crash, which somehow it didn't, and there wasn't a. And the Yankee fans, I knew. Remember, I said about what that man, if they experience a Wi-Fi outage,
Yeah,
I got
true.
confirmation that there wasn't a Wi-Fi outage. But man, I know. Trust me, I know this uncle I have in Long Island. I know he would have gone nuclear if there was a Wi-Fi outage while watching the game.
Yeah, well, luckily everything worked out good for that Netflix broadcast yesterday for the Yanks and everything. And if you're a Yankee fan, you must have been very happy with how that went down. And Dan, you were talking about people, like with Fox that had a TV show getting tickets to the World Series and everything. Well, there is one guy that is in our chat at the moment right now who was at the World Series last year, and he didn't have to even have a TV show on Fox for it. And that's Mr. Cardiff Electric saying, "Go Jays, go!" Hanging out in the chat. Shout out to Cardiff.
Yeah, you were there, and I'm hoping to try to figure trying to figure it out because it's gonna. I'm hoping to find a bus service that's cheaper to to get to Toronto for that because it's a. Unfortunately, they discontinued Megabus, which used to be
Oh God, what are
reliable.
you gonna do now?
I'm gonna find a bus service. I'm gonna find some way to get there, and I don't know how. Somewhere we're gonna find a way to finance this because it's
See,
gotta happen.
so your plan right now, because if anybody that wasn't watching when Cardiff was on during the gold medal game between the United States and Canada, when the U.S. won, Bobo declared that he's going to be going to Toronto. The Mets and the Blue Jays just so happened to be playing on Canada Day, July 1st of this year. So Bobo did make the proclamation that he's going to Toronto and he's going to drive down Main Street in Toronto in the back of a pickup truck, blasting, what was it, Dan? Was it Freebird?
Freebird.
That's right. Okay, little Skinnerd is going to be blasting Freebird down Main Street in Toronto. So you got that to look forward to. Cardiff said he's going to drive the truck, so it looks like it's all ready to go. So your plan, though, Dan, to get up there is to take a mega bus up there.
Well, that was the first thing before I realized that Megabus isn't operating in the Northeast anymore
Oh
currently,
God.
and this other dipshit company called Flexbus keeps buying up all the bus companies, and you know why that's a bad thing, right? That
Why?
affects the price.
Aha.
They're even buying those small Chinatown companies that offer those cheap buses in Boston, those Chinatown buses. Which, by the way, those buses were a great deal. By the way, if you needed a cheap trip to Boston, I can tell you myself, I may have used some of those buses. But they're buying anything they could. This company, these Euro douches called Flexbus keeps buying up all the freaking bus companies. Most notably, they own Greyhound. But
Well,
it's the fact.
we will definitely find a way to get you up to Toronto at that point, even if we have to. Whether it takes planes, trains, and automobiles, we have to get Steve Martin involved. Whatever is going to happen, Dan, we're going to find a way to get you up to Toronto for that that game, no doubt about it.
Yep. At least they know the passport's covered. At least that part I know is covered. Should be
There we
good.
go. So you could check one thing off the list on there, right?
Yeah, exactly. The passport covered. Just probably, I don't know how this whole thing works. I think you got to make sure everything you're cleared with every requirement by going, maybe speaking with the Canadian embassy. I think that's how that works when you travel to these countries. Is you make sure you don't have any surprises when you arrive at the checkpoint.
That's right. That's right. You don't want to get swarmed at the border. No doubt about
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So you probably have to probably have to consult with the make sure I've met all the entry requirements by speaking with a representative of the Canadian embassy to make sure that's all cleared up.
Very true. Very true. We'll have to see about if we can get the prime minister there to welcome you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's gonna be. That's gonna be a stretch, but I'm gonna have to speak with someone at the go to the wherever it is in New York because I know there's one somewhere in Manhattan that you could do that because I've known enough people who have traveled overseas that sometimes they usually maybe go over some paperwork with the embassy of whatever country it is they're traveling to. So that's what I'm probably gonna have to do to make sure there's no last minute hiccups when I get to the checkpoint. How whatever transportation I used to get there. I'm also looking forward to just really posting a video, just showing people that how happy I am that they have that that the people of Canada are forever reminded that we beat them in a gold medal game because that game-winning puck is on display there in the
And
country we defeated.
when you go up there too, you should go up there with we got to get you a replica gold medal.
Yeah, something for that. But yeah, I just wish the jerseys weren't so pricey because I saw them before the Olympics. They were selling them at the NHL store. I would have worn that if it wasn't so pricey.
Very true. Very
I would
true.
have
We'll
picked it
keep
up.
an eye out for you. You do have a birthday coming up in just about a month, Mr. Carlin. So keep your eyes peeled. Maybe you'll be getting a USA jersey in there.
Yep. But yeah, that was just such. But that's just a fun moment. I actually heard if I'm there, I'll actually be able to catch. They had a 100th anniversary of the Rangers exhibit there. I heard. I've been hearing,
Very
so I
cool.
might be. So I'll be lucky enough to catch that while I'm there too.
That's
So
true.
maybe I picked good timing to be up north.
Yeah, you'll kill like 2 or 3 birds with one stone on that trip. I love it. I love it. So also shout out to Cardiff for checking
Yeah.
out the show today. We appreciate you hanging out, buddy.
Yep. Thank you, Cardiff, and as always with all my fellow baseball fans everywhere, happy opening day.
Happy opening day, even to those Jays fans, because you know what, we got that Canadian American rivalry. But let's be honest, Dan, we're Mets fans, so if we have to choose between the Yankees and the Blue Jays, I think we're picking the Blue Jays, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of happy for them. I may have been DMing every Blue Jays fan I know, congratulating them when I'm watching. I I there was I had to escort a relative to a that had to go to the emergency room or something, and that relative didn't want to go alone. So I'm in the emergency room and I'm watching. And there wasn't. I wasn't gonna watch CNN, which was on the TV in that waiting room. So I just plopped up my phone and I was watching that game on my phone via the Spectrum app. I was watching that's what I was watching.
Very cool, man. So yeah, the Yankees, just to get back on track, Yankees did get the win on opening night in San Francisco. Dan, I did want to point something out though too, because we all know what's the one thing that you associate with the Yankees, especially these recent teams, more than anything, right? It's basically their ability to hit the home run, right?
Yeah, exactly. Their ability to home run, and in the yearly postseason choke if they make the
that
playoffs, because
that too.
these days we see something I did not I did not see when I had to live through seeing what I call the most spoiled generations of Yankee fans at that time, because they were seeing them making the playoffs year in and year out, and there's those Yankee fans that were born too late to see that dynasty. They're experiencing something a bit more, I say, human, more realistic. Is that actually
Yeah.
here you don't make the playoffs.
Well, the Yankees still basically make the playoffs every year. They just don't win the World Series every year like they did in the late '90s. So, yeah, I definitely hear you on that, Dan. But the reason why I even brought that up too is because the one thing you associate with the Yankees now is hitting home runs. If you remember the game, they actually beat the crap out of Freddie Peralta last year when he was still with the Brewers at Yankee Stadium on opening day. The Yankees hammered home run after home run after home run in that game, and ended up winning, obviously. But it actually made me curious because the Yankees won last night 7-0, and didn't hit a home run in the process. So it actually made me think: when was the last time the Yankees won on opening day and did not hit a home run? Well,
Yeah,
I went back into the best seat in the house archives for this one, Dan, and I found out that the last time the Yankees actually won on opening day was without hitting a home run was on April 1st, 2008, a 3-2 win over Toronto at Old Yankee Stadium. So what that means is in the entire history of New Yankee Stadium, the Yankees have never won on opening day without hitting a home run.
yeah, that is just wild to see that. How far back you have to go? Like literally the year that it was the last year for both stadiums, a year that things worked out because of a rain out to one of the Subway Series games I had tickets to in the Bronx. I ended up going to his two stadium doubleheader, and during the nightcap, I briefly walked past someone because I was sitting in the field level, and I said hi to him, and I said this guy. He said, "Oh, well, loves your show, big fan." A couple of months before I really got to know this guy on a more bigger level, some fellow by the name of Anthony Cumia as a fan of. Before I ever really got to know the guy, I got to we crossed paths. I crossed paths with Anthony before I ever really got to know him, because he
Very
was at
cool. Very
because
cool.
he was at that game, because I guess I mean, Anthony, of course, as we know, was a Yankee fan. He was at the game with someone who he was dating someone that worked for Channel 11 at the time, and they were broadcasting the game. So that's how he got these tickets. But I walked past them and I noticed it was Anthony Cumia, and I said,
Wow.
oh,
So wait, that was the Summer of Love with Jill Nicolini, right?
yeah, yeah. That's when I ended up unexpectedly at Chase Stadium running into Anthony Cumia.
Very funny. Wait, so this must have been in, like, let's say like June of that year, right? June of
Yeah,
2008.
yeah, a couple of months before I first visited the show and was appearing on air.
And when was
That
that?
is,
Was that August of that year?
yeah, like
Wow,
months
that
before
really is
that,
crazy.
I ran into Anthony Cumia at Chase Stadium.
Very
And
cool. Very cool.
it was like weird when I looked at that, and I gotta tell Anthony about that, because I don't think I ever told him about that. I ran into him before, a couple of months before he ever knew who I was.
Right?
But
That
it
is
was like
pretty funny.
weird. But it was like weird running into that. It was like a premonition of something that was going to happen. And of course, there's also a funny other story about me being at the same game Anthony was. He was at a Subway Series game at the current Yankee Stadium, and I was sitting in a bleach. I was sitting somewhere different, or I was sitting in the bleachers. But I posted a picture, and at that time, because the Rangers were also in the playoffs, it was in 2015. I I was already starting to show the playoff my playoff beard on my face, right? And back then, I had these glasses. You know those glasses that kind of turn into sunglasses when they're daylight. freaking good pair of glasses, which they freaking weren't so expensive. Otherwise, they would have replaced that pair when that pair broke few years back when I had slipped in the snow. But anyway, the picture, because it was still daylight, the glasses were shaded because it does that when it's daylight, right? Anthony just said that, posted a tweet, says, "Man, Bobo freaking looks like John Lennon." That's what he said. I looked like that. This picture of me I took from sitting in the bleachers in left field is where I was sitting that game.
I could definitely see the sunglasses in my head that Anthony was referring to there. Definitely a little Lennon-esque. That's very funny.
I don't know. You might have seen me wearing those sunglasses back then. I don't know if you remember.
I'm sure I did at some point.
See me wearing these. I'm not wearing sunglasses. They were my eyeglasses, but they turned. But remember, they would in the daytime they would be like shaded. In the daytime, yeah. Probably Makes remember sense. Wearing that pair that I probably would have still had today had it not been for the fact that I slipped during like a couple of years ago. I think it was around 2017 or something like that. I had slipped. I had like a little stumble in the snow, not really like a fall or a hindered fall, but a stumble in the snow that the glasses fell out, and while I'm collecting myself, I crushed the glasses while I'm trying to collect myself to get back up, because you know how that happens when you fall in the snow. There's like the little bit of the shock part when you fall in the snow, and then you try to collect yourself and get back up because the glasses fell off. I'm just trying to collect myself, and they cracked.
Dan, you there?
I'm here. It was just
okay. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit there for a sec. Okay, no problem. So definitely hear what you're saying on that one. I did want to wrap up with the Yankees, though, and just touch on the Knicks real quick before we get out of here, though, Dan. Max Fried, a lot of people, knocked the Yankees for with as much money and the length of the contract that the Yankees gave him last year. But Max Fried has been nothing but money for the Yankees last night, throwing six. He threw 6 1/3 of shutout innings against the San Francisco Giants, and oddly enough, Dan, he's the first Yankee lefty. Now, we all know all the great Yankee lefties over the years. If what you want to talk about, Jimmy Key, Andy Pettitte, CC Sabathia, any of these guys from the last 20, 30 years. And Max Fried is the first Yankee lefty to throw at least 6 shutout innings on opening day since Ron Guidry did back in 1980. So, Max Fried up there in elite company there.
Yeah, that is crazy to go. You're doing something right if you're mentioned in the same breath as someone who has a monument. And I gotta say, I said it before. So many teams freaking passed up on this guy, and probably regret it. I mean, including us. I mean, I was saying, come on, freaking big nose, sign this guy. I knew this guy. I knew this guy was gonna be something that was gonna turn out better than what people were thinking on the in the outside.
Yeah, it's true. But I think everybody thought that the first couple of years the contract was going to be worth it. It's the last couple of years the contract that might be a little tough to stomach, because you got to remember too, he's already 31 or 32 and he signed a 7 or 8 year deal. So he's locked up until his late 30s. And, right now it's definitely worth every penny they've spent on him. The worry people had was how good he'd be late in his 30s,
Yeah, that's what I feel like. And at the same time, I feel like you're really not going to do anything unless you're willing to take that chance. Because sometimes that thing you took the chance on ends up leading to the results. I mean, just look at the Dodgers, the way they took that chance on Yamamoto. He practically carried a lot of weight. He carried them to a championship.
Yeah, but Yamamoto's completely different because Yamamoto was 25 when he signed that contract. So, you can have no problem giving a pitcher a 8 to 10 year deal if he's 25. but you're giving that same kind of deal to a 31-year-old pitcher. Now you're talking about, instead of paying a guy till his early to mid 30s, you're talking about paying a guy until his late 30s, early 40s. So I know what you're saying, but it's kind of apples to oranges because Yamamoto was so much younger than Freed.
Yeah, I guess you could say you could spin it like that. But I feel like sometimes I've seen teams they took that risk and it pays off, and because they didn't just take the coward way out, and
Yeah,
you had to do that. The 2004 Red Sox took a chance on like that Kurt Schilling, and I somehow actually that one I kind of knew, like, holy shit, when I heard that one that the Red Sox got Schilling, I says, holy shit, they're really taking that serious. Like,
yeah.
they look
Well,
like they're
and the
trying.
Red,
They were trying to. They look like they got a sour taste in their mouths after the previous season. So they were business, and it worked out well. And he Kurt Schilling once again. He just was money in the playoffs, and I feel like down the line he's gonna end up in the Hall of Fame somehow. The
he
Veterans
should be.
Committee.
He
He
already
should
should be a
be.
Hall of Famer too. It's these asshole writers that are keeping him out.
Yeah. And I think he's onto something when he's like predicting that the Veterans Committee is going to have more sense in them about that. Because I feel like a lot of these guys, especially the Veterans Committee made up of like Hall of Famers and players, they they could attest to what, facing him and stuff, that this guy he was a tough opponent, and he just, the way that guy came through, because they saw it themselves. I feel like there's a different thing that when players see that sometimes, I guess.
It's true. This is true, man. And all right, last thing on the Yankees, they're back at it tomorrow. Now they're back at it tomorrow afternoon in San Francisco. So you got to remember, it's a 4:35 start here, so it's a 1:35 start over there in San Fran. So you're not going to see those same shadows like you saw yesterday in the game when it started at 8 here and 5 o'clock their time. So there's a lot of shadows early on. Not going to be seeing that so much tomorrow. But the Yankees are going to be throwing out Cam Schlittler, every Yankee fan's favorite fantasy pick in this year's draft, because of how great he did in the postseason. He had that incredible start against the Red Sox that clinched the series and knocked the Red Sox out of the playoffs last year. And then the Giants are throwing out lefty Robbie Ray. We all remember Robbie Ray from a couple of years ago, was one of the top left-handed pitchers in baseball. The Giants gave him one of those big-time contracts, and they ended up bringing him out there. He's had some injury problems the last year or two, but still always a very good pitcher. And Schlittler and Ray should be a good matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, it should. And Yankee fans really lucked out with the fact they probably didn't think that when before the start times were announced, when they realized they're opening the season in San Francisco. They're thinking, oh, they're going to have to stay up. I'm sure most Yankee fans are thinking, we're going to have to stay up late and everything, 10 o'clock start times. You guys were lucky the opening series. You weren't getting it, despite the fact it's a road series on the West Coast, that you're not getting those unusual start times, and at least from an East Coast perspective, you kind of got that a little easy, even though it is a weekend, so it's probably a little easier to stomach. But either way, it's just those things just eat at you when you're trying to pull off being up the whole time to watch these West Coast games sometime.
Very true, man. Very true. So Yankee fans won't have to worry about that tomorrow, as it's a 4:30 game. So they'll have plenty of time to get that, as everybody's getting out of work tomorrow afternoon. They'll be watching the Yankee game. And real quick, Dan, let's round this thing out tonight, talking a little Knicks. But first, I did want to show you this. You did get a little shout out from the audience here.
Yep. What's up, JV? Drury, Ducey,
Tuesday.
whatever. Ducey, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. It's a little hard to pronounce stuff that you're not familiar with the pronunciation. But what's up? Nice little picture you used there. I could tell you're a fellow dog parent. So, and always I got to give much love and respect to dog parents because they
No
know
doubt,
the same thing. They know the same thing we know. Life is just so damn better when you have a dog around.
no doubt about it, Dan. No doubt about it. And life is also better when the Knicks are winning. And right now, the Knicks have won 7 in a row. So we're feeling pretty damn good about ourselves at the moment. Knicks have won 7 in a row. They got the last one against the Pelicans at the Garden on the other night. They ended up winning 121-116. Now they hit the road. They're actually playing the Charlotte Hornets tonight, and they're down 65-55 at halftime. So not very good defensively. Knicks got to straighten themselves out with that. But, big win over the Pelicans the other night. Jalen Brunson had a big game too, Dan. And if the Knicks are going to do anything, Jalen Brunson's the guy they got to look to.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the Knicks are just gonna wake up in the second half. That's just my gut feeling because they've still managed to they're still in this game. So without a doubt, I could see it right now. They're gonna have a nice little run in the second half and give me something to celebrate about twice in the same day, which is always good. Always a good thing to have something to twice about in the same day, especially on a day that I was not only not only at the Met game. I'm wearing the shoes that also are used during basketball and during baseball season because our favorite baseball team and our favorite basketball team use the same colors. And maybe these orange and blue socks did the trick also.
Could be. Could be. Also, Dan, too, a couple other things to root for today, like you said, not only just the Knicks win to go along with the Mets win, the Knicks also have on the line tonight clinching a playoff spot, which, look, the Knicks are one of the best teams in the NBA. So clinching a playoff spot for the Knicks doesn't
That
mean as much as it used to be. But it is the fact if the Knicks do beat Charlotte tonight, they clinch a playoff spot.
yeah, that is going to be a big thing, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty of Knicks fans to celebrate. I mean, they're everywhere, but I know for sure there's enough New Yorkers in the Carolinas that are going to be in the stands. That are in
No
the
doubt
stands
about
for
it,
this
man.
game.
Also, another thing that brings a little bit more meaning to this game tonight is that the Knicks trail the Boston Celtics by a half game. So if the Knicks do win this game, they'll be essentially in a tie with the Boston Celtics. The Knicks will have one more win and one more loss than the Celtics, but they'll be in a basic tie for first place in our division. So that's big. That's definitely something the Knicks want to get done. They haven't won a division in a while. You want to get this done today, or this year. And the last thing, Dan, too, for the Knicks is that Miles McBride is making his way back from hernia surgery. He's rehabbing his way back, and Landry Shamet was actually out tonight with a little knee issue. So, you know, I like the fact that they're resting Shamet, and I like the fact that we're hearing Miles McBride's name back too, Dan, because the quicker he gets back, the deeper this bench gets.
Yeah, I just feel like this team's going to be more lethal with him and him back. This team could be more lethal down the stretch and actually have enough depth to not burn out in the second half of the game, which is going to be a key thing in the playoffs. I feel like is the ability to not be burnt out in the second half. The thing that just cost us so many times last year.
It's very
And
true, man.
and and and, and, and caused my TV to nearly break, by the way.
That's definitely a side effect of a struggling team. You're right about that, man. And with that, I think that's just about going to do it for us today on this edition of Best Seat in the House podcast. Dan, anything I'd like to plug before we get out of here?
Sure. My Twitter Bobo103NYC, Instagram Bobo718DK. Also subscribe to our Patreon. We'll get access to tracks I admitted. Well, you're gonna go film a little the tracks I admitted after this. The latest one wrapping up what happened over in the Darlington Raceway. I'll make sure to get the tracks I admitted for you guys. But it'll be there, and for all you see, and then more importantly, it's $5 to subscribe to the Patreon and support the show and get access to all that Patreon exclusive content, including our Patreon exclusive show on Sunday, which is also the football wrap up show when it's during football season. And you get 8 days early access to my YouTube videos when I put stuff on YouTube. 8 days early access. We decided to give you even better. 8 days early access, not 7 days, not 5, 8 days. I'm telling you,
right.
only someone like me could be insane like this to do this, and I'm doing it for you guys.
It's like that old, what was that old commercial from the 80s? These prices are so crazy, I'm going insane.
You know the crazy part? When I was little, I remember glancing at times when people were watching stuff in the living room, seeing these commercials, and I feel like those to someone that little, like maybe the last couple of years these commercials were around, I kind of felt like the president almost, I guess maybe now I could comprehend what I must have thought. I thought the guy was going to kill himself if you didn't buy something from his store.
Well, you were almost right about that based on the way things worked out. But yeah, so I think that's just about going to do it for us today. We're going to be getting out of here. I do want to give a shout out to it's not showing up on here. Yeah, it's not. Although you can see a little bit of Perry on there. If you want to see something funny right now, Perry Caravello live. He's trying to break the Guinness Book of World Records for putting T-shirts on, and he's got like 30 T-shirts on right now. So if you want to go laugh your ass off, check out Perry.
Oh my god, that would be crazy. And I have to admit, what would have been crazy if I could have gotten my sister to help out, because she used to throw T-shirts at Cyclones games. That was she did that for us. She did that for like 2 years.
There's the hook.
And I don't think it's too late to do that, but I would have been trying to have convinced my sister to go to LA and just do what she used to do then it was called MCU Park, throw T-shirts, and then Perry puts them on as she throws them, and maybe just for the heck of it, I think it would have been funny if my sister had did that, and maybe just for the heck of it, as a goof, had Flutzy play Lazy Mary, because they also did that at the Cyclones games. If you've been to Cyclones games, sometimes they would do the Lazy Mary when they're throwing a T-shirt. So it'd be funny. I would love to somehow talk my sister to do that with us. See like a crazy contest who could catch the most shirts by having, since my sister actually did this at a stadium.
It's true.
The best
battle. I like the idea. We'll have to figure something out like that. Maybe we'll have your sister throwing T-shirts at us when we're doing the 999 or something like that.
Yeah, it might be a stretch to get her to want to participate in the show, but maybe one of these days we'll figure out to get somebody who has experience throwing at least somebody who has experience throwing T-shirts at a stadium to do that.
Exactly. So everybody, want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with us here on this edition of Best Seat in the House podcast. Like my co-host said, don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Best Seat in the House podcast. It's only $5 a month. We got a lot of content going up there. So thank you so much for everybody for hanging out with us. We'll be back with you on Sunday doing our regular Patreon show that day as well. So if you're not a subscriber, be sure to check that out. And for everybody else, we'll be back right here next week for our typical show next Thursday at 7 p.m. So thank you so much to everybody for hanging out. Shout out to Carter for popping in the chat. That was classic. And want to thank everybody for hanging out with us too. For my co-host, the great Daniel Bobo Curlin, I'm Rob Kramer, and this is the Best Seat in the House podcast. We'll catch you on Sunday on Patreon. Until then, let's go Knicks, everybody. Clinch the playoffs tonight, baby. Let's go.
Yep.